School cafeterias have enough questions about what's in their food. But what happens when even the questionable menu items are replaced with pink paste? I'm Mark from Digital Dissection. I make Fallout lore videos, and today I'll be your guide to the Suffolk County Charter School experiment in Fallout 4. While Fallout 4 features a bevy of hidden locations and adventures that may go unseen by some players, even its marked locations can suffer the same fate based on what you might be chasing in the main storyline. The southern portion of the Boston Commonwealth's map and its marshlands can often feel this way, especially if you're avoiding the Gunners Plaza, but just east of them sits a location that may go unexplored, the Suffolk County Charter School. While it may not look like much from the outside, it's actually the home of one of Vault-Tec's worst experiments. And rather than subject a group of vault dwellers to another nefarious set of circumstances, they'd instead target a student body population and a principal who was desperate for more funding. When I visited the Suffolk County Charter School for the first time, I actually didn't even recognize it as an educational institution at all. Sure, the decayed school bus from the Massachusetts School District should have been a dead giveaway, but I actually had no reason to be here, so pressing deeper into its interior wasn't exactly on the top of my list of priorities. Its welcome sign, however, was what actually drew me in, as it features a tagline as ominous as it is creepy. It reads, "Education is what survives when what has been learnt has been forgotten." If this feels like one of those tip-of-the-iceberg moments, you'd be absolutely correct, as the charter school features something you'll not find anywhere else in the wasteland, and that's a population of feral ghouls with an oddly bright pink skin pigmentation. Just like so many mysteries in Fallout 4, there are many breadcrumbs from the past that we can follow, and they lead directly back to this school's last principal, a woman named Jackie Hudson. When first entering the charter school, you're more likely to notice that it's frozen in time, as it's still adorned with Halloween decorations from the year 2077. But it turns out this isn't the only memory held in stasis until the sole survivor intervenes. The former school was operated by Principal Jackie Hudson, whose skeleton likely adorns her former office. Her leadership came at a troubling time, as Suffolk County was decimated by budget cuts, and desperate for a solution, Hudson didn't have many options. Rather than the risk of the school closing, the principal explored unorthodox means of acquiring funds outside of normal budgetary cycles. Contained on Hudson's computer terminal is an ominous note explaining exactly what she had been pursuing.
Principal Hudson, again I thank you for your school's willingness to participate in the Nutritional Alternative PACE program, or NAPP for short. You and your students are doing a service to this country by helping us push the limits on our knowledge of food and nutritional science. During the period of this program, nothing but NAPP should be served to the students. No outside food should be tolerated on school grounds. We will be sending scientists periodically to observe reactions to the NAPP and ensure proper testing conditions. Non-compliance will result in funds revoked, so please make sure your faculty and students remain obedient. Signed, Dr. Jerry Gibson.
So what exactly was the Nutritional Alternative PACE program? What had Hudson signed the charter school to be a participant in? If the NAPP sounds nefarious, like a government-funded experiment made possible by private sector partnerships, well, you're probably not going to be surprised by many of the oncoming details. Principal Hudson likely wasn't aware of her true bedfellows in agreeing to the NAPP experiment. But this program was being explored throughout the year 2077 by the United States government and made possible through a joint series of operations with the Vault-Tec Corporation. What the experiment centered around was a pink food paste, a nutritional substitute designed by Vault-Tec that could in theory replace a standard diet. The research caught the interest of the US government, who was impressed by its conceptual 100-year shelf life, but being able to test its effectiveness across wider populations was necessary to advance the initiative. In theory, the NAPP could be a lifeline to seemingly any educational institution hard on its luck financially, but as the introductory letter points out, compliance is paramount to the funding continuing, which meant that Principal Hudson had to make the guidelines abundantly clear to students and faculty. This meant strictly adhering to replacing all food provided from the school to be nothing but the food paste, a point she had to reinforce on October 18, 2077, in her morning announcements.
Good morning, teachers and students. It is another great week here at Suffolk County Charter School. I hope everyone is getting their costumes together for the annual Halloween festival. I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that no outside food is to be brought on campus as of this week. This goes for faculty as well as students. We have received generous donations for our implementation of the Nutrition Alternative Paste Program. We owe our benefactors strict adherence to the rules they have set forth. Thank you for your attention. This is Principal Hudson, signing off.
The NAPP's implementation might have been initially faced with less controversy. This was due to Vault-Tec and the U.S. government pulling strings to host a special guest appearance for the school, as Jangles the Moon Monkey from the popular pre-war TV show The Adventures of Captain Cosmos was brought in as part of a school assembly to address the dangers of strangers. It wouldn't take long, however, for this veneer to quickly fade, as not more than a week later, the charter school's situation would begin breaking down. The tasteless pink paste that the entire Suffolk County Charter School was now subjected to eating admittedly wasn't well received by both students and faculty. Not only had Hudson never received the consent of her staff or student parents to undergo the study, but her forced compliance of the NAPP's guidelines meant that any outside food brought to the school was to be confiscated and disposed of. The early signs of the program's impact were felt in Hudson's update provided on October 22nd school announcements.
Happy Friday all. The NAPP program launched this week with success, but not without problems. I hate to have to throw away your mother's carefully packed lunches, but I am afraid we must put our foot down on this issue. I am assured all of you will get used to the flavor of the paste. Also, I have been informed that flavor varieties will be on their way pending continued success of the program. How exciting!
Hudson's claim that new flavor varieties were coming might have been a fabrication, but regardless of what it might have tasted like, it appeared that a unique problem was brewing in continued exposure to the food alternative.
To those complaining, I will repeat. There are absolutely no psychological or physical side effects from participation in the NAPP. Any observed effect is assuredly psychosomatic and possibly related to a lack of trust in the government. Remember, our participation in the NAPP not only helps our school, but in the long run benefits our nation. Thank you for your attention. This is Principal Hudson, signing off.
The principal's claims, however, were a poor attempt to gaslight the school's population, as changes to student demeanor were immediately felt. Not only this, but growing discontent was brewing amongst the teachers, who connected the dots between increases in outbursts from the experiment, as well as its impact on those subjected to it. A complaint letter drafted by Henry Smith of the English department strongly suggested that Hudson should abandon the trial.
Principal Hudson, I'm sorry to ask, but where has the integrity of this school gone? Forcing all teachers and students to consume nothing but flavorless pink goo is inhumane and demoralizing. Food is an avenue of socialization for our students' growing minds, and they are growing restless of the paste. If nothing else, I'm sure you've noticed the growing rate of visits to your office for misbehavior. Also, I could almost swear everyone seems a little bit pinker after a week of eating this stuff. Please, I ask that we terminate this mistake of an experiment and find alternative funding opportunities for the school. Mr. Smith, English Department.
The degrading situation for the charter school was clearly reaching a boiling point, and likely would have continued to escalate, if not for the fact that Fallout's bombs dropped only a day after the principal's last address to the school on Saturday, October 23, 2077. We can only imagine what would have continued to unfold if the NAPP went on for longer, but there are a few developments about the paste 200 years later. It goes without saying that the pink paste wasn't a great idea from Vault-Tec, but years after the bombs fell, hordes of feral ghouls moved into the ruins of the charter school. And similar to those who consumed the paste before, their skin became noticeably pink over time. The feral ghouls at this location all share a noticeably contrasting skin tone to other ferals found across the rest of the Boston Commonwealth. It seems that no matter who consumed the paste, their skin's pigmentation would forever change. There is one exception, however, and it may be completely an oversight, but the sole survivor will not experience this side effect after consuming the item. The same cannot be said, however, for a raider named Hank who chose to eat it for an extended period of time. Hank and his team of raider scavengers found the Suffolk School at an undetermined point. But upon visiting it, Hank began to eat large amounts of the paste they discovered that had survived 200 years after the bombs fell. A side effect Hank experienced seems to mirror that of the increasing behavior Henry Smith observed and stated in his complaint letter. And even Hank's fellow raiders noticed just how much different he became after they discovered it. The change was so drastic that it inspired the raiders to confront him in an intervention, which is documented in a letter that can be found in numerous locations across Fallout 4. The letter reads,
Hank, you've been eating a lot of that food paste that we got from the Suffolk School. It's affecting you, like in a real bad way, man. You've been flying off the handle at every little thing. Always have this crazy look in your eyes. Heck, during that last farm raid, you even shot up a couple runners. We don't kill them when they're fleeing, man. We're better than that. I know this stuff tastes great, but is it really worth all this? I mean, I had to write this down because I'm scared you would shoot me in the face if I said anything in person. We're your friends. We just don't want to see you go down the wrong path. Just drop the paste, man.
Perhaps in time, Vault-Tec may have been able to tweak the formula of the paste itself. But no matter when it was consumed, it seems that the paste was destined to only make humans more aggressive, irritable, and possibly dangerous to others. The story of the Suffolk County Charter School is one that unfortunately only cements the already well-established evil that is Vault-Tec and Fallout's pre-war U.S. government. The Nutritional Alternative Paste Program is but one of many atrocities unleashed on U.S. civilians, but one that is noticeably more cruel and sadistic. Suffolk County's charter school, according to the Fallout 4 Vault Dweller Survival Guide, had a student base that was comprised of lower income and disadvantaged individuals. The fact that these children were already fighting unique challenges away from school was one thing, but to be further preyed on by Vault-Tec with the NAPP makes the story of this school that much more sad to consider. Its principal, Jackie Hudson, may not have known the full extent of what she was doing when she agreed to the NAPP's experimental study. But part of me almost feels thankful that the bombs did fall, as it's highly unlikely that an extended version of this test would have been any better for the school's population. While the charter school can be discovered in a variety of ways across Fallout 4's events, it's almost better off left untouched, as its sad story and implications almost get worse when compared to other tragedies found in the franchise. My advice to you, if you find 200-year-old paste sitting around, maybe leave it for someone else to discover. And with that, we thank you for joining us as we explored the Suffolk County Charter School and the mysterious food paste found within its halls. Were there any facts about the school's past that we missed? Let us know in the comments. You can also find our entire Fallout Stories playlist linked here, where we post weekly Fallout content, as well as a suggested video you might like if you enjoyed this one. Consider subscribing for more as we cover the franchise. As always, Wastelanders, keep on dissecting. Thank you for watching. This is Mark signing off.